All right, so a couple of things. You remember when we were doing the IF config last week? I'm gonna show you. Actually, let me pull up a terminal. That way you can see what I'm talking about. What is this? Let's terminate that. All right. I am going to open a terminal and we're gonna go over to the other screen just like that. All right, so we have a terminal open, right? I'm not even going into VMware yet. I just want to show you this. So we were trying to get our IP and we were doing if config, right? And it gave us a bunch of information. I'm like, it is so hard to find out the right information here. We're just scrolling. And so then I was like, I did a search, right? Let me see if I can do the search again. I did a search where I was looking at what was the search that I did? I did uh simple way to get IP address on Mac, right? And it told me that, let me see, not this one. Where did I find it? I know the command, but I was just trying to do the search so I can find it. Or let's say on Linux, right? Or terminal. So I have config A, but that's not the one that I wanted. Oh, open a terminal. Oh, hostname dash L. We can try that one too. But there's different ways to get it, you know. But I found one way to get it, but we'll try this hostname.l as well. But I'll show you the ways that I found to get it, right? So if we go over here, so let's try that hostname.l real quick, right? But the IF config, you'll find it there, but it is so messy, so loud that it was like really tough to figure it out. So let's try this hostname dash L and maybe let me see. That did not work for us in this way. Let me see. Yeah, that didn't work. So let's forget that hostname.l. So the way that I found, right, it was IP config, right? So if I just type the IP config, it says, all right, I need to add one of these commands. So this get if address, right? I did IP config get if addr. And then if I do that, it says I need to add the interface. So the interface, which would be the one that the computer is normally using, would be IP config. Is it get if addr? And I think it's en1 or I made a typo. En1 or ne1. Let me see. Geez, hold on one second. Clear. So the way that I get that is by going to the if config, which is the messy one. But it gives us all this information, and then I want to use en1, all right? So what did I type before? Let's do a clear. Now I'm confused. What did I type before? Let's see. I did type in en1. So why isn't it giving it to me? Hold on. Just got an error. Hold on. Give me 1 second. en1 IP config and get if address, get if addr, interface name. So let me do this if config again and look. See, and this is so messy. En0. Okay, So this one is en0. Okay, got it. I was using the wrong one. So let's do up en0, and there goes my IP address on my home network. Right, 192.168.86.28. So I'm gonna drop this command in the chat in case anybody had trouble getting their own IP address and you want to get your own IP address so that you can, if you're on, yeah, I mean, if you're using VMware, you should be able to do that command. Or Kali Linux, you should be able to use that command. We're gonna try it, but this is the command that I use to get the IP address that I'm currently using. All right, now we're going to start up our VMware Fusion. And we're going to click play. Where should we connect your? I guess connect to Mac. I don't know. All right, and we're gonna log in. All right, so we are logged in. Um, so let's see this, right? If we take this IP address that we have here, we're gonna do two things, right? So if we go to localhost, right? So our Nginx web server is still running. Okay. So now the question is, if we go to this IP address over here, right? If we go to this IP address in our VMware, will the web server still come up, right? Because it came up over here. But what about if we try to access it with our IP address? Let's see what happens. I'm not sure. All right, there we go. So we're good. We're good. It's so we have two different IP addresses on maybe what do you call it? The VMware is creating its own network type thing so that we can access it here. But also we have our 192.168.86.28, which is the IP address of our local machine. All right. So what I did was I also went and got the IP addresses of the other computers in my house in my network. So we're going to do this now. So we're going to go back over here. All right. So if we look at these IP addresses, so I have 192.168.86.31 for my Mac Mini. I have this Lenovo laptop, which is 192.168. This one, and then I have my other MacBook, which is 192.168.86.41. So in theory, if I go here, right, I'm able to get to the web server on my Mac Mini. If I go to, as long as the computers are on, of course, right? If I go to the Lenovo, oh, maybe that one isn't on. Did I start it? You know what? I might have not started it on that computer. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's fine. I think I forgot to actually kick off the web server running on that one. Um, no big deal. But on this other computer, boom, there we go. Right. So now we should be able to use the WhatWeb tool. One more thing we're going to do though, with that IP address that we have for the other MacBook, right? I'm going to go over here. Let's see. So we have our .28 IP, right? So go over here. If I paste that in, it's still up and running. So we should be able now to use our WhatWeb tool to scan the network, right? And we should be able to find stuff on 86.41, on .28. If I had the other MacBook or the other Lenovo, like if it had the Docker image of the Docker container of Nginx running, we should be able to get that too. Well, what I can probably do is put some website. I can see. I don't know how much work it's going to take, but put some websites to show up there. Maybe change the welcome to Nginx and say like the name of the computer it's running on, just so that we can see it's different computers that are running. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But that's the idea behind it. Now, if we come into here into our terminal and we say, let me see, we go to WhatWeb. All right, so let's just type in WhatWeb. Let's do a quick recap of what we did. So before we do that, let's get a quick recap. What exactly is WhatWeb? What is WhatWeb? Not WhatsApp. So WhatWeb is an open source tool that identifies the technologies used to build a website. It can be used for web reconnaissance and vulnerability scanning. What can WhatWeb do? Identify web servers such as Apache, Nginx, and IIS. Identify content management systems like CMS, such as WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. Identify programming languages such as PHP, Ruby, and Python. Yada yada yada. Right, a bunch of stuff that it can do. So let's go. So that's what web is. Let's try to actually use it now. Okay. So I'm just gonna type in what web to see what comes up. So we need to pass it a we last week we passed it a different websites. We are going to pass it a range of IP. We tried a range of IP addresses, but because they were not web servers, they didn't really return us much. But we're going to pass it a range of IP addresses that is on my home network, and we will see what results that it brings back to us. Okay, that's the idea of what web. Like it's kind of limited. It's kind of limited to scanning for you know websites. So other stuff it might not be that helpful, but it will give you like in the reconnaissance phase. This right what we're doing right now. It's this part. I think it's going to be classified. It might be classified under a bit of active reconnaissance if we increase the aggression level. So if you remember, we pass in the target, and then we can say we can like by default it's going to have an aggression level of stealthy. But if we make it more aggressive, then it starts looking at additional stuff, and it starts becoming more of an active reconnaissance. So we covered yesterday the difference between active reconnaissance and passive reconnaissance, where you're just like doing who is lookup. You're trying to gather information, but active is like when you are engaging with your target, right? When you're engaging with your target in order to what I say to get data, like to gather intel. All right. So let's do what web, and we're gonna say, what is our IP address range? So we're gonna go from 192.168, 192.168.86.0 to 255, right? So if we were to do 192.168. 86.0 through 192.168.86.255. I'm gonna leave the aggression level as stealthy for now. The default level is stealthy. We're gonna go with that, and we're gonna see what we get. Okay. Let's see. Oh, look at that! Look at that. On so 86.1 found something. 86.28 found Nginx. 86.31 also found Nginx. 86.41 found Nginx as well. So there we go. And so what I did today was I just installed Docker on the Mac Mini and on the Lenovo, but I forgot. I can't believe I forgot to start it up. I already had Docker on the other MacBook and as well as this MacBook. So we have one, two, three, right now three different web servers running Nginx. This one is running Nginx.1.27.3. The IP address for it, the title is given to you. And then we have also this one is running 1.27.4 on 86.31 IP address. And it's scanning through all these. Oh, something was found. Something was found on 108. I have no idea. I don't even know what this one is. So what I'm gonna do then, I'm gonna take this IP because I'm not sure what this IP address. I'm not sure what this IP address is. Oops. What did I do? I'm gonna scan again. Oh, no, wait. It tries to redirect to us. Maybe that's the router. I don't know. I tried to go to it and it didn't go to any particular page. But look at that. I'm hacking my own network. I'm doing reconnaissance on my own network. Let's see. That's pretty cool that we're getting this type of data. Let's let it run. Let's see. So it found this Marvel WM. Let me do a search real quick. So here, let's do some reconnaissance, right? Let's do some reconnaissance. So let's do Marvel WM. What's that? Marvel WM technology done right. Products. Um, Ethernet controller. So I wonder if they make one of my modems. Maybe does my let's see Xfinity modem. What model modem does Xfinity use? I don't. I'm not really sure what that one is. Trying to think if I have anything of that nature. See, now I'm questioning my own stuff. Like, what is going on here? Huh? They probably make some type of modem. I don't know. I don't know. That's interesting though. That is very interesting to me. All right, let's go back to the scan. Let's see. Okay, so there goes my printer. That's found. Oh, interesting. The printer's found. This is absolutely amazing. So last week we were trying to see. Last week we were scanning with the wrong IP address, that 172, which it was probably the network for. It was probably the network for VMware, right? But now that we have the right IP address range, look at all the stuff that we found on our own network. We would have found this all last week. So if I do what if I do a over here? What if I do a IP config ADDR or what is it? IP config, and it is. Oh, so on on Mac, I can do IP config, but on Linux I can't. So let's do if config, and we get this 127. So we were trying to scan on this IP last week, but that wasn't right. We had to, because this is probably a bridge network, we have to scan on the IP address of our host computer. So and I think we never actually set up the bridge network for our VMware like we did for VirtualBox, but that's okay because we're still able to access it. So I'm good with that. All right. So awesome. And it's probably yeah, cool. Now let's do a so let's take a look at this data, right? So what I'm gonna do, I am going to um let's copy this because you never know what you're gonna need, right? Let's go to I'm gonna copy all of this because then I'll have the range of everything, even though I don't really need all of the. Okay, even though I don't even really need all of that, but you never know. You never know when it might come back and you'll need it. All right, so I'm gonna copy that and I'm going to say, um, where is my notepad? Text editor. I'm gonna paste all of that in there, right? So on this IP is Nginx. Um, those are our Nginx computers. It found our brother's printer. Um, it found this Marvel WM, which I'm not sure exactly what that's for. Um, let's see. The brothers
Lunch break.
again.
Lunch break.
So yeah, so that's pretty much what I found. All right. We are going to go to break, but yeah. So we got some more data. When we come back from break, we are going to do a higher level of aggressiveness to see what what other data we can get from this. All right. So that's the plan. But let's go to break. Let's go to
Can find even one, just an honest person. So many lies, so many scams, so much brokenness. Why do we do this to ourselves? We need truth unchained from lies, freedom soaring past the sky, honesty in every breath we take, a world of love where hearts don't break. Walking down the street, I see the shadows creep. People wear their masks, but underneath they weep. Tired eyes hiding secrets deep and dark, in a world where truth's a dying art. In the shadows hiding from daylight, smiling faces that don't seem right. Where's the goodness we seek each day? In a world where light feels far away. Where's the good? Where's the honest heart? In this world that's tearing us apart. We need freedom, we need honesty. In the time of lies, set our spirits free. Promises broken like shattered glass, whispers of deceit in every word that passes. Searching for a light in this twisted maze, hoping to find truth amidst the haze. Where's the good? Where's the honest heart? In this world that's tearing us apart. We need freedom, we need honesty. In a time of lies, set our spirits free. Where's the good? Where's the honest heart? In this world that's tearing us apart. We need to rise, break these chains. Freedom and honesty, despite the pains. Scammers with their tricks and liars in disguise, abusers hiding safely behind their lies. We seek justice, but it's nowhere to be found. Lost in a sea where deceit abounds. Abusers shame with hands unseen. Innocent hearts caught in between. We dream of days where hope's reborn, a better world where none are torn. Kindness grows in unseen places.